All right, today's Monday, December 19th, and this is going to be a follow-up from last week on the trade that I was talking about, which didn't work out, unfortunately, but it's just going to be just a quick video just to look back at the last trade and what I'm looking at right now moving forward. Um, so the last one I was talking about was that this was making a rising wedge, right? If I take this, let's see this trend line right over here, I drew this out, and then I also drew from here to here, let's say right there, right? And bring this back in. So let me rewind just a little bit. I think it was back here. I was talking about that we were having like a potential wedge, and there was just negative divergence on the MACD, which let me draw this out as well. Okay, so price was rising, and then we also had this MACD trending downward while price was going higher. And I did take a short. I don't remember exactly which price it was or what price it was. It was 1.05 something, and in here. And I had my stops up here, which was a 100 pip stop loss. Now, unfortunately, it didn't pan out the way I was looking for it to go. But I wasn't surprised because towards the end of the year, we always have like surprising moves like this. And even then, like I said, the stops were in place to protect the just in case the price went up higher, which I remember it was I think it was the CPI numbers that came out this day, and it pushed all the way up. And then the next day we had the Federal Reserve come out with their FOMC meeting and the interest rates and Jerome Powell and all that stuff. So yeah, so it broke out to the upside, it got stopped, and then I was talking about us getting up to this zone originally, right? And let me just forward that a little bit here. You can see it started moving higher. So I was looking for it to get maybe to 1.07, close to 1.08 maybe, or 1.0750, somewhere in this zone. And definitely pulled back. You see they got into that zone. And then let's take a look right here. You can see price started coming down, and now it's making a long wick up and pretty much hanging around this zone. So what are we going to do now, or what are we looking for now? So first, let's take a look down here. The MACD there's still negative divergence here, right? That's still a fact. So we don't want to discount that the price cannot come down. So because this is still a warning, right? As you can see, it moved up outside of that wedge and then came right back in. And, if you really want to just try to fit the mold, we can even try to adjust this, right? Adjust the trend lines and all this stuff. So, hindsight's 20/20, right? So when we look back, like, oh, we should have drawn it this way, we should have drawn it that way. But what I was also looking at is that trend line, that support and resistance trend line that I was talking about last time, that I was looking as a base to go long. So let's take a look right over here. I'll draw that back out. If I take this, it was this support and this resistance right over here, right? So see, we hit this resistance here, resistance, and then it popped up, and then it did come down and test this as support. Now I didn't go long here because I just felt like this MACD divergence going to the downside, I just felt that was too risky to do that. So I said, all right, you know what? I'm just going to wait to see what happens. And we broke below. So the next candle went all the way up, and it ended up with a long upper wick. And you can make a case that it came down back below this. So, for me, it's like I'm 50-50 on going short again, or just let it play out for the rest of the year and see what happens. But if we take it all the way towards the end, let me just get rid of this and just remove the replay. Okay, so now it looks like it's hitting that as resistance, and there's a potential for it to come down and start trending to the downside. Now, I might be looking for a short right over here if we start trending lower and see what happens. But right now, I'm just gonna wait to see if we start seeing downward momentum. If we start seeing downward momentum, then I have more confidence in the downside. So, and you could still make the case for the bearish case for that for this wedge. You could still say that it's still a wedge. It broke up, a fake out to the upside, and then now came right back in, find this as resistance, and then continue down. So that's what I'm going to look for. And now now that we got back into the zone, or we temporarily got into the zone right over here, in between these median levels, that could indicate that, you know, the market topped out here, and then we start trending lower. Now, if we start trending lower, because these pivotal levels are going to change for the year, right? Coming up is pretty much, we're at the very end of the year. You know, the holidays are coming up, Christmas is coming up, and then we're going to go in 2023. So obviously, this is, if I do get into a trade, it'll definitely be the last trade of the year for me. I mean, I'm not going to do anything else. You know, let us go back into Q1 and look for opportunities as the market develops for January, February, and March. But if I'm gonna enter this trade here, where would I look to exit? Now, I usually, when I see a pattern like this, I usually use a Fibonacci, not necessarily for a retracement, but to look at targets. And I know that's not necessarily what it's used for, or most people don't use it that way in terms of a pullback target. Some of them like to look for the retracement to buy, and to, you know, look for a level to buy back in if they feel that the market's in an uptrend, or the opposite is true for a downtrend. So I'll take a Fibonacci from the ultimate low to the ultimate high, and I'll look for 50% of the whole pattern, which would be right over here, 1.01361, and that matches up around this median level. Now, again, I said these median levels are going to change because the year is going to be, it's going to end. So can't really put too much stock into that until we see the new levels that the market presents. But that's pretty much what I'm looking for. If you start trending lower, you know, the stops will be up here for protection, and you know, we'll just see how the market just carries this on, and even see if this is potentially a beginning of the uptrend. So if we get a pullback here and then we continue up, we'll see what happens in terms of the market making a base and then continue higher, or making breaking all of this here, this previous resistance level, and then create a potentially lower low. But that's pretty much it. It's nothing really, you know, this here, you can still make a case for it that it's still a wedge, and the top was a false breakout, and see how the market carries on. Now, if I look at the weekly chart, let's say all the way back here, again, same thing. This is kind of like a trend continuation divergence here. It got up into this zone, not necessarily with the body of the candle, but nice wick, and then we'll just have to see if the market carries through and you know, starts pulling back. But if not, that'll be it for the year, and we'll just see how this carries on tomorrow. So with that said, I want to wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas. I probably won't make another video until after the holidays, depending on how this trade turns out, if I get into it, and yeah, and I'll try to make a video before the new year. But if not, yeah, this will probably be my last video for the year, and we'll start off with 2023, hopefully on a good note and a good start, and start making profits in Q1 of 2023. So with that said, I hope you guys have a good night, and I will speak to you guys soon.